give us a brief introduction. Let us know who you are and what we'll be talking about today, basically. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, thank you so much. So, Francis, for anyone that joins in, you can try. Let me make you a call so you can try muting them from your end. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Francis. Yes, today's open dialogue, it's an open space. Basically, I will not be the only one speaking. Everyone will be sharing their idea. Now, looking at the topic empowering diversity and creating safe spaces online, it's a topic that everybody should be interested because everyone has access to social media. Everyone uses the internet for one thing or the other. When the topic was given to me that, oh, I should speak on it, I was like, oh, this is actually not my area of focus, but then I'm a young person that have an online presence on, like, I have an online presence. I uses the internet for my work. I uses the internet to network with families and friends. So it's something I should be bothered about. And I think I've fallen victims to scammers, online scammers and all that. Yeah, so something I should be able to talk about, even though basically my work is around governance, peace and conflict resolution, and equal opportunity or equal access to policy education for all. Yes, that's basically what I do. Policy advocacy, policy analysis, um, creating awareness that every child should have access to education and, yeah, conflict and peace resolution in countries in the global south. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lillian. And so just to follow up on that, I'll be asking um, some questions basically just to engage our minds and see what we understand by the questions. Bear with me one moment. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what's
Yes,
wrong.
we can hear you.
Okay. One of the questions I would like to ask is what are some of the common challenges that minorities face online, and how do these challenges impact their digital experiences? Straight off the back of this question, before you answer, Lillian, I think one I can think of is the most obvious one, which possibly is access to the internet. And yeah, I would like to get your thoughts on what you think about that. And any other person, please, after Lillian, you can feel free to engage as well so that we make it an interactive session. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis, for that. And like you said, one of the major challenges minority groups face in terms of digital inclusion is actually accessibility to the internet or accessibility to digital platforms. Yes, and because they don't have access to digital devices or the internet, because you need internet to be able to be on those digital platforms like Google, like Facebook, Instagram, and all. By the time they come online, they eventually find themselves online. Now, they don't have an idea on how to navigate the space that's the digital platforms. And so most times they are susceptible to um, phishing, they are phishing, hacking, and even scams and fraud. They don't know that, oh, there are certain privacy measures they can leverage that these digital platforms have provided. So sometimes they get messages or chats from hackers, even on WhatsApp, and they don't know what to do, or they even respond affirmatively to those persons. the next thing you find out is they are fallen victim of online scam or online fraud. So accessibility to online platform is one major challenge. Accessibility to finance in terms of um, having the devices, because you need a phone or a laptop to be able to be online. Accessibility to sustenance of your online presence. You need money to always have data. You need to pay your internet bills or need, yeah, like I said, internet access. You need money to buy data on your devices. So if you don't have the money to buy data on your devices, then you will not be online. Because being online, it's actually not free. It costs to be online. For my country, Nigeria, being online
We
now
don't know
that
what happens from here, even after a ceasefire.
that
What?
thank you. So being online costs to be online. So when you don't have the financial capability to be online, then that's a major challenge. Also, digital literacy is another challenge. When you're not aware, okay, how can I actually be online? How can I leverage this platform for my business or even for my personal or career growth? And when I'm eventually online, what can I do to stay safe? How can I engage with people? How can I grow my network? How can I make impact? Yes, there are people making impact using Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn. So how can I make impact? How can I connect better with people? How can I grow myself? So these are some of the challenges, and it's very important. I know there are some organizations that are creating awareness and empowering young people, especially young people, on how to be online. I know the UN, I can't remember the particular agency, but they are doing something in terms of empowering people from minority groups, that's disadvantaged or underserved communities, empowering them with the resources they need to be online. And you can see this in true interventions in schools. Schools, I think I can say that of India and even in Lagos State here. And so those are basically one of the challenges of being online, having accessibility to the devices, how to stay safe or engage with these platforms.
Much. Thank you very much, Lillian, for that. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's not easy getting the devices to stay online. It's not easy subscribing. I know in Africa, subscription is a really big issue because of the amount it costs. And most times you hear youths complaining of, they subscribe for about 10 gigabytes of data and it finishes in one day. And I mean, it's putting young people in that space kind of at a disadvantage. And we kind of see that as well when youths are not able to get remote jobs because of they're in a particular location. Why? Reason being that subscription to the internet is going to cost a lot and no steady power supply as well to charge their phones, charge their laptops. And yeah, I think your points are very, very valid and they portray real issues that young people, minorities also face when it comes to accessing the internet. Would anyone else like to contribute to that? Anyone else on the call? I'll just take the question again so that if you have anything to say. So the question was, what are some of the common challenges minorities face online, and how do these challenges impact their digital experiences? So would anyone like to contribute to that? Let's see. Okay. All right then. Good. So moving on, another question I have, Lillian, and
Oh, I see
this
two
one.
hands up.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see any hands. Sorry.
Joseph
Let me
and
see.
Yusuf. Joseph
Oh,
is
okay. Yeah. Mr. Joseph, could you kindly proceed, please?
All right, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Lillian, and everyone on the call. Great. So the question, if I get it correctly, the common challenges minors face on the internet and how to improve their internet experience. Is that what you asked? I'm not
and
sure.
how it affects their digital experiences.
Okay. Okay. I am not exactly knowledgeable about this topic, but having working with young people and seeing monitoring their interactions online, I would say one common challenge that they experience is privacy challenge, right? They really want to be there. This world is driven by the digital economy right now, and everything is fast paced online. We have people of the Gen Z, the millennials, and those of the older generations, all in the same social media space. However, there's no protection for people, younger people. When I mean young people, according to the United Nations, you are a youth once you are 18 and above. 18 and upwards, you are recognized as a youth. So ordinarily, it's expected that you have the power of yes and no. You know exactly what you want to do with the digital space. How about we bring it down to people who are below these age groups? Let's say we have people online from age 10 for people who have the good income spaces, and then for medium income people who have like 13, 14 up to 18 years. This 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 second group of persons, they do not have protection. So they are exposed to internet bullying, online grooming. By grooming, I mean um, sexual abuse and exploitation happen to these people online, where their images are maybe unsolicited images. Adults share unsolicited images with these people, and all these vices that happen, introducing them to different kind of crime, cyber crime, um, early sexual awareness and exploitation happens there. How it impacts their experience or their digital life. One, it makes them grow really somewhat too fast. It helps them not know that the internet can be used for other better things than what it is that they already know. We know in the advanced community, we know that all of these things exist, but then we see how much internet has impacted the lives of these people, helping them to contribute to topics, research, know the latest trends, and connect with the global world. But here in Africa, let me use Nigeria, we have people who are using the internet not because of they want to really connect with someone. They are looking for how maybe adopting trends that might not be suitable for their life at that age, or maybe engaging in cyber crimes. They are very ignorant and uninformed. They share their images with different kinds of people that are asking for these things. They go on to not even read per se. They don't use the phone to even read or make research. They they use their devices to look for means to just get by, forget by daily food. They want to scam someone. We know the cyber crimes, the Yahoo if you're in Nigeria. These are some ways it has impacted. Conversely, we've also recorded people who are doing a lot with the internet. We see some amazing talent of young people between age 10 and 18 years old, changing, telling their stories online, inspiring other teenagers and youth to take actions and engaging and becoming very responsible people in their communities. And they are even winning, they are going on to be recognized by international bodies for their contribution to the digital space as a teenager or as a youth. So I feel in our own little capacity, while we feel the digital space is really a good advantage for people, there should be some sort of structure governing it that protects the rights of children. When I mean children, people below 18 years old, they are seen as children in the United Nations. So be that structure that protects the rights of children and adolescents online. Another one is mentoring, providing mentoring to them to teach them how they can utilize it for their own community good and not for their own disadvantage. Because if you go into cybercrime, it's a disadvantage to you, not a good, right? And how to, okay, I think I'll just drop it here. I'll be happy for that people to contribute. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for your contribution. Yeah, those are some very, very important points you raised. Would anyone else like to speak on the same question, please? The question is, what are some common challenges minorities face online, and how do these challenges impact their digital experience? If no one else, I'm happy to move. Okay, Mr. Yusuf, you have the floor, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak. I would like to add one or two things apart from what Mr. Joseph have spoke about. Uh, One of the things is the lack of awareness on how to utilize the internet appropriately. Instead of people to go ahead and do what to benefit them, you see people are busy doing something that will not even, instead of them to utilize the time, the data that they have, go and look for opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities around the globe. Uh, the scholarship opportunities, the uh, online programs, and a lot more. So people are busy doing something that will not benefit them. They will not earn, they will not what anything, they will not gain anything from what they are doing, but a wasteful of their time. This is what I would just add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. And okay, moving on to another question we have. Is now we've spoken about how these people, the minorities, do not have access to the internet and the challenges they face online, exploitation, cybercrime, and the rest. So now we are going to talk about the social media platforms themselves. And the question is, how can social media platforms protect minority users better from online harassment and discrimination? This is a very interesting one because I believe if anyone follows football here, we see series of campaigns when players are being racially abused, racially attacked, all sorts of vile comments and all of that. And there is always a call for Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the top companies to do something more to be able to fish out the perpetrators of online hate crime. So I think that's basically what this question is talking about, is just asking how can social media platforms, what can they do better to protect minority users from online harassment and discrimination? So Lillian, if you'd like to contribute, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Francis, for that. That particular question in relation to social media is a very dicey one. I remember in 2022, I was on a committee, kind of like a mock committee, where the parliament in the UK was like meant to interview some of these social media founders like Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey, asking them same thing on protecting young people, minorities on social media, because today you get children from like 5 years upwards. They're already on social media. They are using these platforms, and most times their parents are not aware. And then you're thinking on the other angle, okay, if these social media um, founders are to come up with regulations that will protect minorities, young people on social media, then would that not be an infringement on the right of other people who are old enough to use these platforms? It was a very dicey one. Now, let me be more practical, because then you're like, okay, so before any child joins a social media platform, ensure that they sign up in terms of knowing their age and all that, or using this face capturing and all that. And it's like, what if the somebody is doing it for that child? How do you know? And it's that same what if Facebook and other social media platforms are yet to come up with a regulation or a policy that would protect children from the violations and abuses that are prevalent on these social media platforms, especially it's actually in all the platforms. Now, for protecting these children, I think the founders of these social media platforms should work in partnership with the government. And also, because they are young, they either have guardians or parents or older ones to watch over them. So they should work in partnership with the government and the parents or other stakeholders that these children are under their care. Because even if the government comes up with a regulation, it's social media. Anybody can have access to it. Once you have an internet-enabled phone and you have access to the internet. Sorry. Yes, sir. Once you have access to the internet and an internet-enabled phone, you can be there. You can use somebody's image or somebody's details to sign up. I see your end of time, say I would let you speak soon. But the major responsibility, even when the government comes up with a regulation and the social media platform comes up with their own regulation, there are actually regulations there to ensure that children do not sign up. I don't know which. Okay, it's even Google. If you're not up to a certain age, you cannot sign up on Gmail. But for other platforms, I can't remember because I use my normal age to sign up and I'm able to sign up. But they have their own regulations. Recently in Nigeria, the government is trying to come up with a social media bill to regulate what people say on social media. Yes, that is good because sometimes the way most persons, oh, okay, that's fine. The way most persons engage on social media, it's kind of like abusive to other people. They don't use social media right. But on the other hand, you think, are they not infringing on the rights of the citizens in terms of freedom of communication or freedom of speech? But then you also remember that where your right starts is where your right start is where the right of another person ends. Somehow there's a way that is being said. But I would push the major responsibility on the parent or the guardian. If you have a child with you, ensure that you monitor what the child is doing. Even when you give the child your phone, even if it's your own social media account, the child can actually go and be doing something else or even search something on Google, even on Facebook or on TikTok, and then it will bring out certain things which the child is not meant to have access to. So if as a parent or a guardian, you are not doing the part you're meant to play, then don't wait for the founders of this social media platform to do those things because they, aside from the fact that they need to ensure that young people, children, they are teenagers, they are kept safe online, they also need to make money. Because if they don't make money, they cannot keep on functioning or delivering the service of connecting people across the world. That's about how many billions of persons do we have currently? 8 or 9 billions of persons across the world, connecting people together. So they need to make the money to connect more persons together, like sustenance. And if you are keeping a blind eye to your responsibility as a parent, then who gets the impact? You get the impact immediately, and then the society also feels the impact based on how that child will turn out, depending on the resources or the things the child have been able to access on social media at a certain age which that child is not meant to access. So whilst the governments are working on their regulation, we need to think, okay, is that not an infringement on the rights of people or citizens? And on the other hand, we need to put more responsibility for parents. We need more responsible parents and guidance and older ones to ensure that these young ones monitor what they do online. I think DSTV has the feature for whereby you monitor whatever your children are doing. And I think there's this other platform that has social media platform that has it where you also monitor what your children are doing online. So The work is on parents. Don't wait for the government. Whenever they come up with their regulation, there are pros and cons to it. There are stakeholders that are in support of that regulation, and there are stakeholders that are not in support of that regulation. So the major responsibility is on parents. We need to sit up as parents to ensure that the content that our children have access in the course of using our phones, or even the tablets we give to them, or even the cartoons they watch, they are the right content for them.
Thank you so much, Lillian. Would anyone else like to contribute? Does anyone else have something to say regarding how social media companies should assist or regulate discrimination against minorities online? I agree with you. The family, the parents have an important role to play, and also the government and these companies. I mean, they make a whole lot of money from their users, so I expect there should be levels of protection in place, especially when it comes to racism. Why I'm particular about racism is because of the way I've seen people being spoken to or being called names on social media platform. Like I said earlier, footballers, man, once anything goes wrong, you see it's so easy for people to pick up their phone and start saying all sorts of things. I'm not so good with how the tech space works, but I believe there is a way they can trace those words, find out those words, find out those who are continuously using social media to harass, to intimidate. And I mean, we've seen situations whereby people go into depression just off of what people tell them on social media. So I think there's a whole lot to be done. And like you said, Lillian, governments, top governments of the world, I think last week, or if I'm correct, the CEO of TikTok, even Mark Zuckerberg, he faced some families in the US. And what happened? They were families whose children have died as a result of online bullying. So they were made to face the US Senate committee. Pardon me if I get this wrong, but those kind of things. So to tell you that governments are actually looking into it. And yeah, we hope that in the nearest future, things may, become, not that our rights will be impeded, but there will be some more levels of protection when it comes to intimidation and harassment online. So would anyone else like to contribute? Anyone else have something to say on this? Okay, Mr. Tamsir, I see you're in a better place to talk now. Would you like to go ahead? Then after that, Mr. Joseph will listen to you as well.
Yeah, I'm not actually at a perfect place, but still I'm traveling. But I think you can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, you can
Oh,
hear. Your
nice.
hand was up, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, I raised my hand, so I'm sorry for the background noise if in case. Yeah, but then the discussion is actually interesting because it really concerns people, and yeah, especially the young people and the minorities. How can they be protected on the internet? Because especially in Africa, where young people or the children or the minority don't really have some of the security put in place to make sure they understand their rights and responsibility in the internet, and also if there are devices that protect them and uh, make them understand about their rights and responsibility in the internet, it will really help. Because I feel like people really, especially those who are responsible about some of the social media apparatus like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, we can say, I think there are supposed to be strict laws and regulations that actually protect the minority, whereas their rights and privacy can be respected. Uh, in doing so, um, the, the the parents also have a role to play to make sure that they protect their children and the minority, to make sure let them use the social media wisely. Let them not abuse it. Let them use it for a purpose that is actually intended for. I think we have all stakeholders involved to make sure that some of these issues are addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Joseph, you can go, please.
All right, great. Thank you for having me. And speaking about protection of minors online and how to improve their experience using different social media platforms. I'm sure if you are aware, as at now, the age to even create a Facebook account, I think it has been reduced to around 13 years old, right? Even on Instagram and TikTok, you see children on TikTok. Okay, now I want to say the account is being managed by someone, but the content there in really for children, right? So now, do you want to say when these children have access to these devices that are used to manage their businesses or their account, they don't get to see other content that are there. There was a legislature, as it not in Nigeria though, a social media bill protecting the rights of children on social media. I think in the US that says these children should not have access to social media until they are 13 years old, and social media providers, I mean Facebook and the likes, should not use the data. This one is for data protection now. Should not use the data of children or of users that are below 18 years. This means if you use Instagram, you see that sometimes maybe you get to talk about some things on your, maybe you're just having a conversation, random conversation, and then one day you just, maybe the next 3 minutes you go on Instagram. That exact thing that you were talking about, you just see it pops on your screen. You have not gone to search it on Google. If you're following me, it happens. You've not gone to search for this thing on Google, but when you go through, you scroll to your Instagram, you see yourself a shoe that you were talking to your friend that you wanted to buy. You just see that same shoe, like, this is not the shoe I said. I really like this shoe. I was just talking about this recently. Or maybe you're talking about scholarship. You're just gisting with your friend, talking about scholarship and opportunities to travel and all. You have never followed any link regarding that before, but the moment you go your Instagram, you just see the adverts that will be popping on your face is those kind of things that you just spoke about, to tell you that your data is everywhere. Because you're an adult, the internet picks your algorithm and they use it to advertise to you. So likewise, when children too are on these social media platforms, everything that goes on in their surrounding gets soaked into their devices and they have access to it. The role of parenting is really key. There's something like parental control. You can do parental control on Gmails for your children's account. If you have children and wards, if you're a guardian or a child protection specialist, you can do parental control, whereby whatever comes to that Gmail, whatever information that Google will want to use, you will know about it. So you don't just create Gmail and maybe you bought a phone for your child and you want to sign them up to Google Gmail. You just create the account and you leave it. No, you don't do that. You go through the parental options where you have access to that Gmail, not just to read the emails, but there's a way you can protect it that their data will not be used by Google for anything. Because when their data are being used, their data is being used, they get exposed to different kind of things. Now you say cyberbullying and all of these things, right? Parents, I know sometimes we get very busy and want to just keep the kids busy too while we are working. You give them devices. Are you monitoring what it is that they are looking up online? Are you monitoring their conversations? Right? Sometimes a child that will likely bully someone online starts from your own safe space. Do you see how your child relates with other kids? Have you taken note of the words that they use, the language they use to communicate? Are they very territorial? Are they very authoritative? If a child like that gets access to the internet and they they hold the device, they can bully other kids online, they can contribute to conversations that are not they're not supposed to contribute. You might say, oh, he's just 14 years old, but 14 years old, I believe, knows right and wrong. right? So we can control all of these. These are some things that are within our confines, but the larger percentage of it is with the social media providers themselves, right? But how much can you control for them? Can you control Facebook? Can you control Instagram? Can you really say you want to control TikTok? You can't. The only thing you can control is what you use your own device for, how you use it, and what you open your device up to. Lastly, before I use the mic, um, I really wish to see that there's a policy for child protection. I mean, minor protection online, where they get to protect these people online, because, like someone said, suicide rate increases, self depression, low self-esteem, all of these things happening to teenagers these days or young people is because of what they see online and the kind of people they meet online, the kind of community that they belong to online. So I don't know. That is, I'll use the mic. You all said it correct already.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph. For me, what you've said, you've spoken very well, and that was even going to be our third and final question. Like, some of the points you raised, and yeah, you are very, very correct. Especially the one, you just talk about something and then you pick up your phone, you find ads relating to that. It's mind blowing, and yeah, social media, parents should, use the parental control options. Social media platforms should do better. And then, yeah, just to ask every other person, before we round up in the next 5, 10 minutes, what other practical tips, like aside the one Mr. Joseph has just said, what are some of the practical tips you can give or we can share with each other to stay safe online, especially for the minority youth? Off the back of that, permit me to just give this one out there, and I'm very particular about this one because it has the tendency to damage your whole online presence. And there's something called phishing, where people send links across. So you see adverts like oh, click on this and get free 500k, 100k, ridiculous free adverts. I mean, most times when you click on those links, you're giving access to your phone, your laptop to someone somewhere that you know nothing about. And they have, they don't have the power to hack into your system, get your information. Sometimes, they monitor your phone, wait for you to open your bank apps, see the code, and a whole lot of shady cyber crimes. So my own advice will be, or one practical tip is avoid clicking links that you have no idea or you are not sure of the origin. Always verify before you click on any link, not to talk of imputing your personal information on any website. So yes, if anyone has any other practical tip that can be useful, please go ahead now. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. I know then when I share links to you, you always come back to me saying, "Have you opened it? Have you opened it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I've opened it. It's safe." So for that one, absolutely, you're correct on that. I think what some other things we can actually do to staying safe, because when we stay safe, we are able to ensure that younger ones are also safe. We tend to guide them on how to be safe online. Mm, It's to We all know the two-factor authentication. I think that's very important. Gmail has it, and also the Facebook. I remember a time when my Facebook was hacked. Thank God for the two-factor authentication that was I was able to retrieve. It was really like it was stressful that period. Like it was for 3 days. I actually didn't know my Facebook was hacked on the first day. So the second day it dawned on me that yeah, that's fine, Tamsi. So the second day that it dawned on me that my Facebook was actually and then I started messaging Facebook, doing this, doing that. It was stressful, when you're under pressure. Because I needed to get my Facebook account back, even though I might not have thousands of followers, but I just needed it back because I don't know what the hackers will want to use it for. That's what they tell you. Don't listen to this person. My account has just been hacked. And after some, I was able to get it thanks to the two-factor authentication, which I did. Another thing is to create strong passwords. Yes, We all know how to create strong passwords, use letters, use case, use symbols, and all that numbers. Just and then there's also another thing. You know, when you sign in on your browser to a platform, then it tells you Google pops up, should we save it for you? And I'm like, my mind, I'm like, did I ask you to save it for me? Don't save it for me. I will remember my password. But the truth is, most times I tend to like, okay, if it's something I want to go back to that platform, I'm like, okay, yes, save it for me. But I think it's actually wrong. If we can generate passwords, which we can write it somewhere offline and then always use go back to log in on that platform. Because when Google saves it for you, for instance, you don't have access to your device, it's probably stolen or something like that. And then the person tries to access, maybe it's even your PayPal account on your browser or even your Western Union. And then the person logs in, you have money there. Guess what will happen to it? The money will be out. So using the two-factor authentication is key. Getting your password right is also key. Ensuring that you're not accepting for Google to save passwords for you. Also pay attention to updates that comes up. Sometimes you're on a platform. No, you're on a browse website and then they're telling you there's something that will pop up, especially when you want to download a music, an MP3 on your, like, you want to download an MP3 music, and then they're telling you you cannot download this because you don't have your enough space or something. And I'm like, for some persons, if you're not aware, you will click on it and then not knowing that it's this thing, it's a site that you should not go, because they're already getting your details. And some of this is, especially when you want to download a music, then it will take you to a Bet Ninja, a betting platform. What is all this? So we just really need to be careful on the websites and platforms we go, because, like, I think it was Joseph, they are getting your details. Once you click on that link, even Francis, once you click on that link, they are getting your details, and then don't connect to all Wi-Fi. I know students do this a lot. I'm still a student, but during my undergraduate, everywhere you see Wi-Fi, you just want to connect. Even when you're on the train, there's Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi in the train is working, connect. You don't know who set up that Wi-Fi, because through Wi-Fi, people can also get your details. So you don't connect to all Wi-Fi. I think that would actually help you in staying safe online. And yeah, your personal your personal information online, especially for social media platforms. You don't put, you know, where people put I am attending this event. Probably you're in the UK or you're in Cambodia and you're attending a conference, and then you post on social media live in Cambodia. There's somebody who you don't know probably is monitoring you, already knows you're in Cambodia, and tomorrow the person knows, oh, the he or she is in Philippines. The person is having a trace of your travel history. So we just have to be careful. I think Facebook has that thing. When even LinkedIn, when you either resign from a job and you start a new role, of course we just want to put it out there. But before you put it out there, I think, yes, I wrote an article, I will share it in the group. I probably will share the link now, whereby I said before you do that thing, before you make that post, think about what if you're the one in that situation. Francis mentioned about the footballer that was bullied online. He was not the one at fault. Nobody was actually at fault. Everybody did what they could do to ensure that the team came out victorious. But then being second is not a crime. But then people started bullying. It was somebody that motivated that bullying. And that person that motivated it, did he ever think in his mind, what if it was that footballer that is set up for people to bully? Would he actually like it? So before you make any post, before you comment, you see some posts on Instagram or social media, and people are already saying, I go through the comments, people are saying a lot. And most times, even if I have something to say, I rather not say it, because it might be awful to the next person. Because tomorrow you probably will be the one to be dragged online. So before you say anything, think about what if you're the one. Or what if you find yourself in that situation? Okay, thank you. I see Tamsil. Francis, over to you so you can let Francis go. Tamsil.
Yeah, Tamsi, please feel free to go ahead. We're coming to the end of time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, it's very interesting. So I feel like all this information here are actually valid, and that is the fact. I feel guilty when Lillian said about connecting to Wi-Fi, especially in Spain. I did it just today, and then I feel guilty when you say that, to be honest. And that's true because, like, yeah, we feel like we actually are used to something like easy and cheap. That's true, but we need to be so much careful about some of uh, the the open access issues that we actually connect our devices. So because it's important that you know some of those information that you actually shared in the internet, especially your location and other, vulnerable articles that are inside your device. So it's important to be careful about some of those issues. And also the issue of like your password, because some people are very lazy. If you have different accounts and you feel like, okay, I cannot just, create different passwords for all those different accounts. Some people can feel lazy about that. At some point, I was a victim because I have different accounts for different, platforms that I have different passwords to. So at some point, I wanted to limit my password for one general password for all those accounts. It can be serious and it can be really dangerous because if you have one similar password for all your accounts, they can easily access your information and they can easily hack you. But maybe like if you have like this password manager, it can help you remember all those different passwords in some of those different platforms. So I think those are also important. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so all these suggestions are very important. I hope that the few of us here can implement this to stay safe online. The internet is a very large place. It's very easy to get caught up in whatever is going on and lose track of yourself, fall into depression or whatnot. Especially if you're being hacked. Being hacked is not something I've personally experienced, but I've seen what it does to people, and I definitely don't want to be in their shoes. That's why I'm very, very careful whenever I'm navigating the internet. So yeah, I do hope that we've learned a few things from this dialogue, and hopefully we can implement them and live in a safer internet space and use the internet to achieve whatever we have set for ourselves positively. So thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you for your contributions. And yeah, I wish you all a wonderful weekend as we go. And yeah, remember to stay safe always and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Yeah. So before we go, I think for what we've learned here, everything we've shared, I think it's important that we ensure that we'll let maybe probably our friend, but most especially younger ones. I know we all have younger ones that look up to us. Let us enlighten them on how to stay safe online. It's very important because the consequence of not staying safe online is usually it's deep. So the earlier the better. Like they say, prevention is better than cure. So let's go share this knowledge we have. And so if you're on our general platform, I think that'll be tomorrow. These suggestions and the key points that have been noted here will be out on a slide. Yes, and it will be shared in the group so you can share the links with people you feel should go through it and have the knowledge of staying safe. Thank you. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Bye.